As the elevator door opens, I hear a faint siren in my headphones. The first thing I notice about this particular underground bunker is its visual design. While the vaults are brightly lit and give off a futuristic home sweet home feeling, the Lost Hills bunker is dark and gloomy. I walk forward, my feet clanking on the metal grated floor. I head down the hallway to my right, and there I see soldiers in dark green combat armor, with words of encouragement thrown back and forth as they hone their unarmed skills. In the lower levels, I see scribes typing away on their mounted terminals. In my headphones, the air raid sirens become clearer, and at the same moment I hear marching drums. 2 Brotherhood Knights pass me on my way to speak with Vree, one of the lead scribes, to possibly discuss with her the cause of the mutations of the outside world. I notice the insignia plastered on the wall beside me, the wings representing the scribes who design and think of new technology, the 3 cogs representing the Knight Order who craft and maintain these technologies, and the sword representing the Paladin Order who protect the Brotherhood at all costs. After a bright discussion with Vree and her assistant Sophia, who was happy to give me a disc detailing the history of this order, I head upstairs to the first level once again to possibly speak with Rhombus, head of the Paladins. As stern and knowledgeable he is in combat situations, there's nothing he can really teach me, contrary to almost everyone else in the bunker. All this knowledge, all this power, all this technology, there's nothing more that I can ascertain other than, well, these people are preparing for war. What I just described to you were the thoughts and feelings that I got as I traversed the Lost Hills bunker, home to the Brotherhood of Steel in the original Fallout. What struck me the most when I entered this place was, well, how little I knew about the people that reside here. For example, in the early stages of the game, around the 4-hour mark, I could tell you that the hub was a trading center governed by a bunch of companies, Junktown was a small settlement led by Killian Darkwater in opposition to a crime lord named Gizmo, and Necropolis was a ghoul city. With the Brotherhood, on the other hand, the only thing I gathered from them is the fact that they have a pretty rigid doorman, and according to some people in the hub, they kidnap people, and only one of those is true. The Brotherhood of Steel's entire ideology rests upon the fact that they are extremely xenophobic and isolationist. In Fallout 1, as an outsider who wishes to join them, they send you on a suicide mission to the ground zero of a nuclear blast. So, after retrieving the ancient holotape they sent you out to get from the ruins of West Tech Research, growing a few extra toes and losing some hair in the process, you return to the Lost Hills bunker and are given a warm welcome by Cabot into the base. The Fallout team at Interplay seemed to really care about what the player felt when interacting with the Brotherhood, and that is the feeling of a camaraderie, a family even, of, well, as their name suggests, brothers and sisters. They wanted to communicate this feeling so much that they dedicated time to allocating 4 of the 10 talking heads to this one location. So before I go on, I'm going to give you a little history towards the Brotherhood based on physical information that you find in Fallout 1, in sequential order. Let's start with the Brotherhood's forming. The Brotherhood of Steel, according to Roger Maxon's electronic diaries left at the Mariposa military base, was established very shortly after the Great War. You see, in the days leading to the war, the army men stationed at Mariposa discovered the experiments with FEV on involuntary military prisoners. The results of these experiments were so traumatizing and inhumane that the person who witnessed it firsthand, Colonel Spindell, locked himself in his quarters, and soon after that, in an attempt by Roger Maxon and a few of his men to barge Spindell's door open, Spindell apologized before blowing his brains out. After this event, things got even more hectic than they were before. Scientist executions were ramping up, sanity was leaking out, and the situation with the war wasn't getting any better. Just a couple days before the Great War began and ended, Roger Maxon and his men declared secession from the United States Armed Forces and the Union itself, although they received nothing back. Then, on the day of October 23, 2077, the A-bombs flew. Luckily, Mariposa was not struck, and in fact, the situation at Mariposa didn't even stop after the war. More interrogations and executions went on, some even committed by Roger Maxon himself. On October 25th, Roger decided to lead his exodus, including his men and their families, to the Lost Hills bunker to the south, under 5 active directives. A terrible traveling experience included the death of Maxon's wife and the loss of a few other men, but they soon made it to Lost Hills. Somewhere in between these events and the start of Fallout 1, the orders of the Knights, Paladins, and Scribes were formed under the Brotherhood of Steel. In Fallout 1, usually after you find the water chip, you seek the guidance and power that the Brotherhood could possibly possess. After discovering that caravan groups are being intercepted by super mutants, General John Maxon, Roderick's grandchild, sends you on a scouting mission to the north, towards Mariposa. Once you discover Mariposa, and have first-hand evidence that the mutants are generating a huge army from the vats inside, you can report back to Maxon and lay out an offensive plan to the Elder Council. The Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 1 not only serves as a narrative climax, but also the end of the game's mechanical arc where you finally get your suit of power armor. So the Brotherhood, by the end of Fallout 1, becomes a major powerhouse for the rest of the Wasteland. That is, until the events of Fallout 2, 80 years later. When the Enclave started showing their ugly mugs, the Brotherhood realized that they were no longer the most technically advanced group in the Wasteland. In addition to this, the rapid growth of the NCR and their rampant annexation of the West Coast leads the Brotherhood in Fallout 2 to stagnate and, in some cases, fail. Fallout 2 tells of the Brotherhood's slow downfall, their fall into obscurity compared with the American Enclave. After you destroy the Enclave in Fallout 2, the Brotherhood and NCR get into a little, or should I say fucking gigantic, 40-year conflict that even lasts into New Vegas. But here's when things get a little weird. If the Brotherhood is meant to be fighting the NCR in this huge conflict in which the victor cannot yet be decided, why would they send over a huge fighting force all the way on the opposite coast, carrying power armor that hadn't even been heard of yet, to scavenge for, quote, technology that had no evidence existing? It's also explained in Fallout 3 that they wanted to check on the mutant population, something that, on the opposite side of the American wasteland, it would have no way of proving. Why would they want to? They just got out of a conflict with the Enclave and are now in one with the NCR. Why do they care about the mutants now? The mutants hadn't been a problem in over 120 years at this point. In addition, a lot of knights and scribes in Fallout 1 say that they exist to survive, so why would they mobilize an entire fighting force to the East Coast? In simpler terms, why are they looking for a fight when they need all the soldiers they could get to fight the conflict with the NCR?
Our main goal is to survive. The scribes copy old plans for weapons.
Most of the Brotherhood in Fallout 3 is just Bethesda wanting to make their own Vries and Elder Maxons, but they fail. Remember how there were 4 faces in the Brotherhood in Fallout 1, which only added to the already huge amount of characterization they were given? Well, everyone in Fallout 3 has a face, but every character is the most shallow character. The Citadel in Fallout 3 is nothing but another sight to see, something to walk in front of and say, oh, cool, nice, and nothing more. They don't stand for descendants of army deserters or a new order with its own ideology. No, they stand for brute force, white knights that fight against the big bad mutants in the Enclave. While I do appreciate that Bethesda was kind of aware of this and created their splinter faction of the Brotherhood known as the Outcasts, they were still given very little characterization except for allowing the player to deliver random scraps of technology to them. All in all, in Fallout 3, the Brotherhood constructs a big, huge robot that destroys shit, you head to Project Purity to take it back from the Enclave, and you meet the worst villain in the series. So, back on the West Coast, a few years after Fallout 3, things still aren't going very well for them. The war with the NCR is still kind of going on, although most of NCR has by this point shifted their focus to the Legion. After a conflict arose at Helios 1 between the Brotherhood and NCR, the Brotherhood retreated to an underground bunker in the middle of Hidden Valley. Keeping with their wariness towards outsiders, they don't let you join them with open arms like Fallout 3. No, they strap an explosive collar on you and tell you to go take care of an NCR ranger who made camp in an opposite bunker, and if you don't, you die. Only after that do you get to have some fair relations with them. In continuing to aid the Brotherhood and residing yourself with NCR, you'll even get the chance to procure a peace between them and the Mojave. Also, if you want to, at any time you can activate the bunker's self-destruct sequence for any reason. Mr. House, NCR, and the Legion want them out of the picture, or maybe one of the Paladins looked at you wrong. It's a cool moment of player agency and personally one of my favorites. Also, in Veronica's quest, you can threaten one of the Brotherhood Paladins saying that you'll strike down their codex, which is pretty hilarious in the way they react to it.
You're pathetic. Hide behind words all you like. but your cowardice shows through. No. No!
You were kidding just now when you said that thing about the Codex, right?
The Brotherhood and Fallout New Vegas only have one or two endings in which they don't stagnate into obscurity later on, which shows that one day we may have a Fallout game that decides to move on beyond the Brotherhood. I don't know, only time will tell.
People of the Commonwealth, do not interfere. Our intentions are peaceful. We are the Brotherhood of Steel.
So back on the East Coast once more, 10 years after Fallout 3, the Brotherhood finally, kind of, have a reason for being in the Commonwealth. Synths created by the Institute are perceived by the Brotherhood as threatening to the societies that have arisen in the Wasteland. The Brotherhood, and Arthur Maxson specifically, see these androids as a ticking time bomb. The Brotherhood is still very willing to letting in complete outsiders, and their motivations still get a bit skewed in the third act, with them seeing the only way to destroy the Institute is by rebuilding a robot they used 10 years ago, using the most impractical methods of stealing ancient technology from huge skyscrapers and arc-jet systems, which honestly the Prydwen's army could have easily penetrated the Institute with nuclear-based weapons using the Prydwen and its vertebrates as support. Still, I think the Brotherhood in Fallout 4 was executed much better than that of 3, and that improvement lies mostly with their context within the Commonwealth and their characterization. There are so many memorable characters within the Brotherhood in Fallout 4, like Maxson and Paladin Danse, who, in the quest where Danse is revealed to be a synth, they have an ultimate standoff battle of words and wit. This is one of my favorite dialogue instances in the entire game. You also have Initiate Clark, who has sympathy with ghouls for a very human reason. Proctor Ingram, which has more physical characteristics than most, how she uses a power armor frame to help her walk since she has no legs. I enjoyed speaking with the people of the Brotherhood more than I did in 3, which is nothing less than a huge improvement. Ultimately, the Brotherhood of Steel has always been an important faction in the Fallout series. Hell, we've had 2 games literally centered around them, but they have to be done well. To make a Brotherhood branch interesting, in my opinion, they should have context within the setting they are placed in, or just not be there at all. They should stand for something, and it's an extra bonus if they give you a hint of characterization. The Brotherhood has always been a brotherhood, a fraternity sorority more than a military branch. They've always been together. Each person should still have their own personality and beliefs, not generic soldiers looking to their leader as a god and doing this without question. What I'm saying is, if the Brotherhood of Steel is going to be in a Fallout game, I'd much rather have them under context and adding to the setting than for simple recognition, something Bethesda still has a bit of room to improve on. Thank you for watching, and I'll be doing a video for most of the other factions that have appeared in the Fallout series as well, so stay tuned if you did enjoy.